All were merry, but he who was going to be married was in the throes of a great agony. He left the house as soon as he gave his consent for marriage. All day long he roamed about in the streets and passed the whole night sitting on the banks of the Ganges, weeping bitterly. There was none to share his feeling. To whom would he disclose his mental suffering? He went without any food. Deen Dayal could not know anything of it, for he was busy fixing the marriage date, writing letters to his village and buying the necessaries. Gradually, everything was bought with the exception of the bridegroom's suit. Deen Dayal asked his son to buy it from the market after his own choice, but he refused to do so. Consequently, Deen Dayal himself had to get it from the market. The day for them to start for their native village approached. Deen Dayal was busy in packing things. As usual, even on that day, Nagmahashaya went out for a walk on the bank of the Ganges at nightfall. Before returning home, he bowed to Mother Ganges and said, "O Mother, I have heard that thou art the purifier of all sins. Therefore, if I be defiled by the dirt and dust of the world in becoming a householder, wash them off, O Mother, and both in weal and in woe give me refuge at thy hallowed feet." Thereafter he returned to his house, and the father and the son set out for their native village. About his marriage, Nagmahashaya used to say, "Marriage with a pure desire for progeny does not defile a man, but only saints and sages of yore were fit for such marriages. Having observed austere brahmacharya for a long time, they took wives for the purpose of continuing their progeny. And having begot sons like Vyasa, Shukadeva, Sanaka, and Sanat Kumara, they retired to the forest to lead the life of a recluse. But it cannot be so in this iron age. Nowadays, there is not that deep meditation and self-restraint, and so the children born of lust become wicked and immoral." About his second marriage, he said, "What could I do? It was my father's command. I had to obey it, although it was venom itself to me." The father and the son reached their native village 5 or 6 days before the marriage. The auspicious day approached, and Deen Dayal, with all the fondness to a father's heart, took the bridegroom in procession to the bride's house, and the holy ceremonies were gone through with great joy and merriment. But with it withered the long-cherished hope of Nagmahashaya to lead a life absolutely devoted to spiritual practices without the distractions of family life. Moreover, with the thought of the responsibility of married life, it occurred to Nagmahashaya that henceforth he must also earn something for the maintenance of his family. When, through the will of Providence, he was hurled into this life, he must stand up to it manfully and shirk no duty. But he had an inborn hatred for servitude, and so he chose the independent profession of a doctor. After the marriage, both the father and the son returned to Calcutta. Nagmahashaya set up his medical practice in right earnest. From this time forward, Nagmahashaya began to accept fees from his patients for their treatment. For 7 years, the smooth life of Nagmahashaya was gliding on uneventually in the joy of study and meditation in the company of noble friends and in attending to the numerous patients who flocked to him. All of a sudden, a cloud appeared in the clear sky. A letter came bearing the news of his aunt's illness. She was old and infirm and was suffering from dysentery.